Guys, what is the crack? Bitcoin with Dinny, and it's Dinny here. Chase Bank in the UK have just decided that they are going to prevent all crypto transactions, all Bitcoin purchases. You literally, if you bank with them, you cannot buy Bitcoin now through your bank account. And that's a big deal, okay? And this is what we're going to talk a little bit about, and I'm going to give you a solution, okay? And we can talk why they done that, and maybe you guys can give your input. So yeah, the news came out that Chase Bank are like, nah, we're finished with crypto, no more Bitcoin for you guys. You literally can't buy Bitcoin through your bank account. We need to keep you safe. Now, I like to sort of steelman the argument and see it from both sides. I can understand why they might do that, because a lot of people are giving away a lot of money every single week. I get a horrible phone call or an email or a social media message from someone who's asking me, is this a scam? I literally glance at it, and in a tenth of a second, I'm like, blatant scam, you'll never see that money again, forget about it, write it off. And it doesn't matter if it's 5 grand, 10 grand, or 100 grand. Okay? So people fall for these scams because they're just not educated in crypto, and things sound legit, and they sound great, and they're full of buzzwords. So people just send them some money, and they never get the money back. And worse than that, not only do they send them the money, okay, but then they send them more money because the scammers tell them, oh, the money is locked up and you have to pay the offshore tax on it, and then you can get it back. So just send another 2 grand or 6 grand. It's terrible stuff. It's heartbreaking stuff. So I suppose by preventing people by buying Bitcoin this way, you are going to protect people, okay? Because most people aren't educated about the space, and they don't understand it, and they can be easily scammed, okay? All our information is out there on the internet. We have no privacy now. There's illusion of privacy. That's why I don't care, because it's all out there anyway, okay? So your phone number, your email, everything. You'll see when you log on to a website. Now it's like, you have to, it's like, do you want us to take all your data and track you everywhere you go on the internet? And it just assumes that you do want that. But if you don't want that, you have to go to a separate page, you have to unclick all these things. It's such a pain in the ass, it takes so much time, and you have to do that on every single website, okay? So all our data is being collected, all our data is being used, and you're being tracked to wherever you go on the internet. So, by banning the purchase of Bitcoin, it is going to help these people. However, the people who it's not going to help are people who have responsibility, people like you guys on this channel, people who focus on your education, people who aren't focused on a get rich quick, and who allow their thinking to be clouded, and they just give their money away, all right? You guys are smarter. You guys are working on yourself. You guys are finding opportunities. You guys understand proof of work. You guys understand patience and how to invest and investing fundamentals. And if you don't fully understand it all, well, you're in the process of learning it by being on a channel like this and absorbing the content. By the way, if you are here, time for daily exercise. Flex the index finger, approach the screen, find the like button, and give a nice little press to me. That's all we ask on the channel. So the way that we want, and you can let me know, all right, are banks doing this to keep you safe, or is it out of self-interest? Is it that they want to keep the money within their financial system and they don't want it to go to, let's say, Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin, remember, is an alternative financial system. And when I had a fitness business, and I remember it was maybe 10 years ago or so, FlyFit were moving to Swords. And FlyFit were a bigger business than me. They had nicer premises than me. They had much more staff than me. They had nicer changing rooms than me. They had a bigger car park than me. They were cheaper than me. The whole place looked better than what I could offer. How could I compete with a conglomerate company? I couldn't. So when my members started talking about FlyFit coming to town, what do you think I was saying? Yeah, guys, you should just leave here as fast as you can and go there. It's way better. No. I was incentivized to be like, nah, you want to stay here. We know your name. We look after you. You'll get better results here. All the stuff was true, okay? But you have to look at the incentive. My incentive would not be to say, yeah, you know what? It's 10 times cheaper over the road there, and the equipment is brand new, and our stuff is old and rusty, some of it. Okay? So you have to look at incentives. For the banks, their incentive is for you to keep their money because they make money off your money. That's why they won't even give back to you when you go in. You ask for your money back. They ask you a million questions, and in some instances, they just won't give it to you. So maybe it's that. Maybe they're trying to keep you safe. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But they do have an obligation to keep people safe, okay? And I suppose the ETF is coming. I've been beating the drum on this ETF for months, for years now, okay? Because it's inevitable that it's going to come. It's a question of when, not if. And those people who acquire enough Bitcoin before this ETF is launched, okay, and they own it themselves, meaning they self-custody it, well, these people have amazing options in their future. They don't have to go along with all the nonsense that will be pushed on people who don't own anything. And when I say people who don't own anything, I mean people who don't own Bitcoin, because nothing else you can truly own. Nothing else is censorship resistant. Your gold, your house, your cash, okay, your assets, all of that stuff is easy to take from you, all right? Your Bitcoin is not. You can set up your Bitcoin in a way that it's impossible, pretty much impossible, to take from you. And that's how I do it. You have to bring me to different countries. Can you imagine guards putting me on the plane to fly me here and there to get my Bitcoin? It's not going to happen, okay? Not that they would have any reason to, but it just means that I have sovereignty. I know that all my wealth that's in that asset is mine and nobody can take it from me. I can even take it to the afterlife if I want, okay? If you don't come visit me in the home, I'm taking it with me. All right? And that's an amazing asset to own because you can't own anything in this world. Remember, the Russians thought they owned their dollars until they just got turned off. The Canadians thought they owned their Canadian dollars and then they just got turned off. It's as simple as sending a letter. That's it. So you don't own stuff. You think you own your house? Well, ask anyone who's got a motorway sitting where their house used to be who really owned that property. It might have been in their family for 100 years, but now there's a motorway there. You don't own nothing, lads, okay? Unless you own Bitcoin. So, you can tell me in the comments whether you think it's for your own good or if they don't want to own nothing. They want you to own Bitcoin through an ETF, okay? Now that means that you don't truly own it. You just have paper representation of the Bitcoin. You can't self-custody the Bitcoin. Someone else is mining it for you. And in this day and age where people don't want to take responsibility and they want to feel safe, okay, it's all about safety, make the cage smaller and smaller so I feel safer and safer. If you're someone like me, you value your freedom and you might believe that human flourishing comes from human freedoms. We've tried the safety aspect, we've tried communism, it didn't work. It never worked, but we always go back and retry it again. And we seem to be trending more towards that. Again, you can let me know in the comments if you think we're trending towards more control or more freedom. What do you think, guys? More control in the future or more freedom in the future? More human freedom or more control? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. So, by owning the Bitcoin in an ETF, you can never really own it. You have price representation, and that's grand, okay? But you don't get the true ownership benefits of it. All this stuff, I believe, once the ETF launches, it's going to get more difficult to actually own Bitcoin. Remember, Christine Lagarde from the European Central Bank, she said we've got to plug all the escape hatches. Now what that means is we don't want money leaving the euro system. We've got to plug, and it's called capital controls, and every currency has it. Because if they didn't, well, all currencies would sit in the dollar because the dollar is the strongest currency. Okay? So all these currencies have currency controls, and all of these politicians or banksters or diplomats or whatever the hell you want to call them, the people who make all decisions for our lives, they do not want you to exit their system. Okay, as Christine Lagarde said, we've got to plug all the escape hatches. We don't want people escaping. Like, imagine escaping. Imagine having the choice to put your money somewhere else instead into our currency. And while I'm ranting here, I was getting a bit of hate off people about Bitcoin, and I'm like, people are so blindsided. Their blinkers are literally like this, that they can only see a slit of light in front of them, okay, with their trust for the euro. It's like over the last 3 years, they printed 40% of all the euros ever in existence since the thing started, okay, in 2000s, were printed. In 3 years, they literally devalued your wealth by 40%. That's why everything has gone up in price, and they blame Putin. And the newspaper readers, they just nod their head and go, he's a baddie, all right? And they have no idea how money works. It's so blatantly obvious. If you dilute a currency, if you print the money, you devalue it, okay? If I have a barber shop in a town, I have one barber shop, all right? The value of that barber shop is diluted if suddenly 5 more barber shops decide to set up. It's easy. The value is diluted. There's 5 places to go instead of just one. Like, this isn't rocket science. It's pretty simple stuff that a tiny little bit of rational thinking will get you there, guys. Okay? So scarcity is value, and this is why Bitcoin is the most valuable thing that any of us can own, because nobody can print it. Nobody can print it. And yes, in the short term, the price is volatile. But people, you got to get comfortable with the volatility, all right? Because on that other financial system, you just got to get comfortable with getting poorer, because it only goes down. It can only trend down, all right? And it doesn't matter whether you have dollars or euros or any fiat currency. You find me a fiat currency. Here's a challenge for the community here. Find me a fiat currency that's gone up in value over time. You won't do it. You can't do it. Why? It's just impossible. They never have. They all go to zero, okay? Bitcoin does, and how do I know Bitcoin's going up in price? Well, it does the opposite of these currencies. Instead of creating more, we create less Bitcoin over time. So with the euro, we create more euros over time, and that's why the value of all my savings, all my money in the bank account is basically stolen from me. Because I don't get a choice. I can't print it, okay? If they print 40%, the value of what I have in the bank goes down by 40%. Just like if you have one barbershop in the town and one more sets up, well, the value of that barbershop goes down about 50% if they're both around the same business. Do you understand this stuff, okay? So any amount of money that's printed just devalues your money, your savings, your purchasing power, and you don't even know it, okay? So that's why Bitcoin is this alternative system, and we got to pay attention to it. Now, I had a couple of notes here. Let me see. Well, I'm having a look at my notes, guys. Do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the comment button. Most people are asleep about this, and they hate on Bitcoin because they haven't even read one book. I challenge any person who's doesn't have full conviction on Bitcoin, read a bloody book. You know, people just watch newspaper headlines and clickbait and nonsense. Like, read a book. This is how we educate ourselves. Okay, because a book is just a book. It'll take you through a whole story. Read one book. I've read fucking millions of them. Well, not millions, but a lot of Bitcoin books. My aim is to read them all. Okay, but the amount of skeptics who haven't even read a single book and they come at me with arguments that are like first level, and it's like, it's not even worth your time to try and rebut the argument because it's just so wrong. It's just like, it's just like, you shouldn't waste your time arguing with an absolute idiot or a moron, okay? But I know you guys are smarter than that. Some of you guys are yet to even read a book, and I want to encourage you, go and read a bloody book. Everything divided by 21 million is pretty simple, okay? Everything divided by 21 million is pretty simple, but it gives some sophisticated ideals. So I used to tell people to read the Bitcoin Standard, but the Bitcoin Standard is hard. I had to read that 3 times before I had half a clue. So now I encourage people, I send them to the Bitcoin Standard, to Everything Divided by 21 Million. It's a 4-hour book, okay? Most people probably watch 4 hours on Netflix a day. Well, I don't know if they do. Maybe they do. Speaking of soap operas, I don't watch them. I don't really watch TV. The only thing I watch is motorbikes going round and round in circles. Oh, lads, I gotta go soon. Let me know in the comments, do you think the banks are keeping you safe, or they just want to trap you in the system so they can print money and devalue all your wealth and control you? Do you think, my second question, I've got 2 questions for you today, and I'm looking forward to checking the comments when I come back from the vet. My second question is, do you think that the world is trending towards giving you more freedom? Have more choice, or we want to control you more. We want you to have less things. You will own nothing and be happy. Let me know in the comments. You can add in whether you think it's positive or negative, whatever your answer is. Guys, have a super day. Remember, study Bitcoin. That's what I encourage people to do. If you need help to build your plan to retire early and you want to do it before you're not actually able to do it, which may come sooner than we think, get in contact with me. And even if you just want free resources or anything, shoot me a message and I'll fire you on loads of free stuff to go through. Boom! Dinny out. Have a good day, guys.